Section 16 of Birds, Volume 3, Number 2, February 1898, recorded for LibriVox.org by Jen Broda. The Black Swan. Australia is the home of the black swan, and it is invested by an even greater interest than attaches to the South American bird, which is white. For many centuries it was considered to be an impossibility. But by a singular stroke of fortune, says a celebrated naturalist, we are able to name the precise day on which this unexpected discovery was made. The Dutch navigator, Willem de Vlaming, visiting the west coast of Southland, sent two of his boats on the 6th of January, 1697, to explore an estuary he had found. There their crews saw at first 2 and then more black swans, of which they caught 4, taking 2 of them alive to Batavia and Valentin, who, several years later, recounted this voyage, gives in his work a plate representing the ship, boats, and birds at the mouth of what is now known from this circumstance as the Swan River, the most important stream of the thriving colony of West Australia, which has adopted this swan as its armorial symbol. Subsequent voyagers, Cook and others, found that the range of the species extended over the greater part of Australia, in many districts of which it was abundant. It has since rapidly decreased in number there, and will most likely soon cease to exist as a wild bird, but its singular and ornamental appearance will probably preserve it as a modified captive in most civilized countries, and it is said, perhaps even now, there are more black swans in a reclaimed condition in other lands than are at large in their mother country. The erect and graceful carriage of the swan always excites the admiration of the beholder, but the gentle bird has other qualities not commonly known, one of which is great power of wing. The zoologist gives a curious incident relating to this subject. An American physician, writing to that journal, says that the first case of fracture with which he had to deal was one of the forearm caused by the blows of a swan's wing. It was during the winter of 1870, at the Lake of Swans in Mississippi, that the patient was hunting at night in a small boat and by the light of torches. In the course of their maneuvers, a flock of swans was suddenly encountered, which took to flight without regard to anything that might be in the way. As the man raised his arm instinctively to ward off the swiftly rising birds, he was struck on his forearm by the wing of one of the swans in the act of getting under motion, and as the action and labor of lifting itself were very great, the arm was badly broken, both bones being fractured. When left to itself, the nest of the swan is a large mass of aquatic plants, often piled to the height of a couple of feet and about 6 feet in diameter. In the midst of this is a hollow which contains the eggs, generally from 5 to 10 in number. They sit upon the eggs between 5 and 6 weeks. It is a curious coincidence that this biographical sketch should have been written and a faithful portrait for the first time shown on the 200th anniversary of the discovery of the black swan. End of section 16. This recording is in the public domain.